Okay. Hello, everyone. So this is Simone speaking. I'm the orientation and mobility specialist working at Guide Dogs Singapore. So for today's podcast, we have a special guest, one of our clients. Her name is Amanda. Amanda, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Amanda. I've been a client of GDS for the last 8 or 9 years, on and off.
So long. Okay. Yeah. So for today's podcast, we'll really just be talking about uh, kind of like our main service, our orientation mobility training, and really just to give you guys a little glimpse of what training a client involves in O&M. And we'll also be talking a bit about echolocation. I think some of our clients do have this question of what echolocation is about, and later we'll be touching a bit about that lah. Okay, so for today, right, Amanda, we will just talk about how what kind of orientation and mobility training that you have received from us, and how has it helped you in your independence and your life lah, in a sense.
Okay, sure.
So when did you first started like getting services from GDS?
I lost my sight when I was 17. So I think it was around then when I first approached GDS and got some assistance with, training me on how to go to school and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was like when you were in secondary school lah.
No, I was in junior college already.
Oh, you're already
first year
in
of
junior college. Okay.
Yeah.
Then when you first received the O&M training, how was your experience like?
It was quite a while ago, but I think started off with just the basic cane skills on how to use a cane properly, how wide should your arc be and things like that, and then moved on to specific route skills. So the route that I was studying in particular was how to get to class from the canteen, or how to go to the washrooms from my classroom, or even just how to get to school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as compared to like when you're in JC and then like fast forward till now, right? How do you think has the training like kind of changed, or how has it evolved?
So I would say that when I was a new cane user, the focus was really about remembering the route and using the landmarks available, the tactile landmarks.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm a more seasoned cane user, I would say I don't rely so much on tactile landmarks,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not so much restricted to specific routes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to a new place, I think I have sufficient skills that I can more or less get there, or more or less find my way around. Yeah.
Okay. So like you mentioned, you don't really rely much on like tactile cues already. What do you mean by that? Like what in specific kind of skills have you used to sort of help you to navigate around now, like being a seasoned cane user?
I suppose I think over the years I built up some skills on how to do mental mapping of the environment, or how to using echolocation to get a sensing on how far away things are, or like where or to know to get more information about the environment around me. Learn some questioning skills so that I can seek guidance from the public or members of the public on how to move around. So these are the skills that I kind of pick up over time, beyond just the basic cane skills and all the tactile and shore lining kind of skills.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone, just to add in what Amanda has mentioned. So in orientation and mobility training, we teach more than just cane skills. A huge part of what we do is really to teach our clients how to travel from point A to point B. And like what Amanda mentioned, mental mapping is actually a huge part of our orientation mobility training lah. So we basically teach our clients to make use of environmental cues to kind of decide where they should go. Yeah, and I think this mental map is not something that can be mastered like over one night. I'm sure for Amanda, like it took you a few years, right, for you to sort of master that confidence of traveling in an environment, be it familiar or unfamiliar, correct?
Yeah, I would say so, yes.
So for today's podcast, we really just want to kind of highlight a bit about what mental map and also what echolocation is about lah. So like for Amanda, I think let me try to recall. When we did our echolocation training, that was like last year, right? Is it last year?
Yes.
Last year, right? Yeah. So cannot remember. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if I can.
So we walked down
share this to
the empty
the audience lah. But basically, Amanda is trying to apply for a guide dog. Yay! And so a huge part of like I think for any guide dog applicants, they have to go through the O&M assessment. So the assessment will actually involve the client to sort of demonstrate routes that they have been using all this while to sort of let the instructor have an idea of where this client is in terms of their skill set lah, and what are the areas that that can be improved. And then from there, we will help to prepare the client to sort of upskill themselves so that by the time they go through the guide dog assessment, they are equipped with sufficient skills to be matched with a guide dog. Yeah. So for Amanda, when she approached us to sort of upskill yourself, right? One huge thing that we did was to do echolocation training lah. And
yes.
Echolocation training basically is to sort of teach our clients to walk through open space and to listen out for, I would say, spatial awareness. So sort of you can tell that if let's say I'm walking along a corridor and along this corridor there will be like a few intersections and like doors, without having to use my cane to sort of touch the wall, am I able to use my hearing to sense when the next intersection is coming or whether the door is closed or open? So actually that this skill is not a basic skill. It is quite an advanced skill that requires the client to really practice and practice over time lah, and work with the instructor quite closely. So for Amanda, you took the echolocation training with me for quite a few months, right? Am I right?
Yeah, we did it at the GDS office building.
Yeah. So I would say about 3 months, all in all, like
maybe
including road crossing. Yeah, so for echolocation, we did like basic echolocation training where getting Amanda to describe what a closed space is and what an open space is. So it can be quite hard to describe like now as I'm describing, but basically what closed space and open space means is that just imagine that you're putting your palms like hovering above, like just on top of your ear. Without your hands touching your ear, you can actually feel like there's something covering over your ear, right? So that is actually the kind of sound that we try to simulate to teach our clients what a closed space and an open space is. So if let's say my palms are covering my ears but not touching it, and you can feel something that's covering, we call that a closed space. But if I were to remove my palms away from my ear, and suddenly I can hear a lot more, like the kind of space that you are hearing is so much louder and like bigger, then we will call that an open space. Yeah, so this skill is particularly useful for like if you are traveling through an unfamiliar environment, or you just want to get a sense of like where you are in space. It does not magically will be able to teach you to travel independently, but it will be a very useful skill for you to sort of um, walk through open space without relying on tactile cues lah. Does it make sense, Amanda?
Yeah, I agree. So I think it gives you a sense on, you know, when, say example, if you're walking down a corridor, you can have a better sense of where the intersections are, or like, you know, where should you turn left and right, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for Amanda, after we've gone through the basic echolocation, then we move on to like road crossings, right? So how do you think like the echolocation skills has actually helped you with your road crossing?
I think echolocation very at the core is all about listening well, and I guess that's the most important thing when you do road crossing, because you have to listen carefully before you make a good judgment as to whether you should cross or not. Yeah, so I would imagine that you know, someone who is good at like echolocation would also be good at road crossing as well.
Yeah. So Amanda didn't go through this training like the easy way lah. I kind of I kind of like punish her, not say punish her, but like made her do a very complicated road crossing, like a cross junction. And yeah, it's a crazy road junction, and like traffic lights do not have sound, you know, on all four, like on all four sides of the traffic light. So it makes it even more difficult because then you know, not only do you have to pay attention to like the parallel traffic that is going, you know, in the same direction as you, you also have to listen out for cars that are moving and like, you know, going past the zebra crossing behind you, you know, going across you, and then you have like other pedestrians who are also crossing the same traffic light as you. We have like um, um, food delivery scooters, bicycles around you. So there's a lot of like dynamic obstacles around you that you kind of have to manage it lah. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think Amanda, I kind of put Amanda in that kind of very stressful situation because I wanted to just to let her be exposed to a complicated situation so that you kind of know like what it's like lah, you know, because um going through O&M training, sometimes it can be quite how to say, like it can be a very controlled environment because you have, you know, the instructor to kind of like look out for you, and like, you know, there's, you know, and if really anything were to go wrong, the instructor was always there to kind of stop you from making a very dangerous mistake. But what happens if, let's say, if it's a very very complex environment like a cross junction, then you know the chances of you making a daily mistake is even higher. And what if, let's say, you are there on your own, then what are the kind of thought processes that you have to go through to, you know, make a decision, you know, would be very important lah. Yeah. So and so as Amanda, as you are like going through the road crossing, like crossing like the cross junction, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is like the most difficult part when it comes to like practicing your road crossing?
I think when it comes to road, to complicated road junctions where the traffic is moving in multiple directions and in multiple lanes, probably I would say that the more difficult part would be listening out to everything, because sometimes you can catch that, oh, the cars closer to you have stopped, but to hear, you know, 8 lanes down that the cars down there have stopped, that might not be so easy. Or so that maybe that's the difficulty. So you know, with imperfect information, because your hearing isn't that great, you make an imperfect choice, and then that's where it becomes very dangerous.
Yeah. So the purpose of this training really is not to like sort of say that, you know, VI clients have to go through very dangerous training to master, you know, echolocation skills. But I think the point of this is really just to expose clients to different kinds of environment, so that they know how important it is to have a good echolocation skill. And I think for Amanda, definitely she has improved a lot, right? Like making the right like judgment to cross when there's no audible signals. Yeah, you know, I've seen you
Work in progress.
work in progress and I've seen you like improve along the way. Yeah, I think that's something that is quite impressive. And let's just say okay, you have like future cane users who would also want to learn echolocation. What would you like tell them? What would you say to them?
I would say that it takes time to pick up the skill, and don't be discouraged if at first you can't catch it. Yeah, because I mean, it takes a while to develop, and then sometimes, you know, I mean, for me, I practiced so many times as well before I could figure out, oh, you know, this is what it sounds like when it's open air versus when it's closed air, or things like that. So it is probably just building up your skills over time. I don't think you'll get it right away. It's just that you have to keep at it, and see how you can best learn.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the best way to pick it up is to keep trying. Yeah, and keep exposing yourself to new environments, because maybe you have after a while you have mastered all the intersections at this corridor, and you realize that you think that it's good enough, but maybe in a different environment that might be slightly different, because if you're outside, it's not so controlled, it's something different. So it's good to try it out at many different places.
Yeah. But of course, disclaimer, you know, if you are totally not familiar with that road crossing, please don't try to attempt to cross it on your own, okay? Always contact GDS, contact Cheryl or myself. So Cheryl is the other colleague who's also doing O&M training. And yeah, we will show you what are the kind of skills that you can have to make sure that you know, you are able to make a safe road crossing decision. Yeah. So like Amanda, she has gone through a long, extensive periods of training with me to get to where she is today lah. So if to all our audience, if you know of anyone who may benefit from echolocation training, do call in and refer them to us. Yeah, you can contact us via our Facebook, or even our email. Our email is admin@guidedogs.org.sg. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Amanda, you have any more things you would like to share with like the audience?
I would say to the audience who are interested in O&M training, I think that it's a very valuable skill to pick up. It will help you to gain more confidence in yourself and be more independent. But of course, you know, preface it with the fact that it will take some time to pick up, and don't be discouraged if it doesn't work out for you at the beginning.
Oh yeah, and also forgot to mention, Amanda is currently like going to you are currently working in a government agency, right?
Yes, I work for MSF.
Yeah, so Amanda is currently working for MSF in the disability office, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so so she has come a long way. I've taught her since she was in university, and then all the way to now that she has started working. And and hopefully when the whole virus is gone, you know, we can proceed with more exciting things for you. Yeah. So so we hope to everyone who is listening to our podcast, that now is a weird period where everyone is just staying at home, you know. Yeah, and I guess hopefully we can, when all this is over, we can go back to our usual routines, and then yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and uh stay happy. Yes.
Yes.
Okay lah, so that's all, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then see you in the next podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.